So to begin, could each of you briefly introduce yourself and the organizations you represent, please? Alessandra?
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation. Glad and happy to be here at this starting of this important exhibition. So I am Alessandra Fazzi. I'm the president of the Italian Institute of Packaging, president since 2022. I'm Italian. I think it's clear from the accent. And I'm here representing the Italian Institute of Packaging, which is an Italian association. It's a B2B association. It's pretty wide in the sense that we have 380 members. Mm-hmm. They come from the whole packaging industry, so we have all the representatives along the packaging supply chain, value chain. So we have raw material producers, we have labs, we have converters, we have brand owners, so everyone who is, let's say, is dealing with the packaging. The Italian Institute of Packaging was founded in 1953, so we have more than 70 years. It's, let's say, it's an association that has grown during time due to the fact that we have created some other, let's say, entities which are helping us in delivering our mission. The first company, it's a spin-off of the Italian Institute of Packaging, is the Packaging Meeting, okay. Which is a company owned by the Italian Institute of Packaging, which takes care about the training and about conferences and, let's say, events organization for packaging. The second one is the Ethical Packaging Charter Foundation, but I don't want to spend any words now because I think that we will have time later on to speak about the foundation. Then we do believe in network, so that's why we are part of also of a broader international network. So we are part of EPIC, WPO, and we decided recently to join European as well. That's the institute.
Thank you for this presentation and welcome on the scene. Can you briefly introduce yourself, the organization, about the Institut belge de l'emballage?
Oui, merci beaucoup pour l'invitation. J'en profite quand même pour...
Yes, thank you for this introduction. I'm going to introduce myself in French, even though I'm then going to speak English. We are the Belgian Institute for Packaging. We've been around since 1954, and so we just celebrated our 70th anniversary. And what we offer is 3 levels of support for the packaging industry. So first, we have an information center where we share technical information and data. We follow the legislation in place. And we're also the operative hub for packaging techniques and technologies in Europe, and so 261 technical center. We also offer tailor-made training at customers' request or more general in so terms of the technical aspects or legislative aspects. So for instance, we have a course on recycled plastic uses in packaging that we gave in September. And the third level is labs, where we test certain materials, cardboard, glass, plastic, and wood, very varied materials, and testing on the different types of packaging, especially in terms of mechanical performances. And our mission and vision and values are what you see on the slide, and so I'm not going to repeat this so that we save a little bit of time.
General Delegate Conseil National de l'Emballage, bienvenue, welcome.
Thank you for the invitation.
Same question for you.
Just in a few words, what is the Conseil National de l'Emballage? Conseil National de l'Emballage is an association, a non-lucrative association. The creation was 1997. Our members are 40, representing the whole chain of packaging and the product packaged. That meaning brand owners, packaging manufacturer, packaging machinery, NGO, eco-organism, and also designers. And we are an association called Moral Authority from our government. More or less, it looks like a think tank, if you want. And we have our main activity is to disseminate best practices on right packaging. This is our main activity.
Thank you all for this introduction. I have also a question for everyone. My question is, what do you see as the main challenges currently facing the packaging industry in your respective countries? And how are your organizations working to address these issues, whether in terms of sustainability, regulation, or innovation? Who wants to answer first?
I start? Okay.
Okay, Alessandra.
So I think that challenges are different and they are at the highest level in this period for the packaging industries. In my opinion, I would, let's say, highlight three main challenges. First one are directly linked to economical and environmental policies within the EU, and which we all know, so the EU single market, for example, the Clean Deal, the new circular economy, PPWR, and so on. So these are, I think, at the top level on each, let's say, table of everyone is working on the packaging industries nowadays. The second one, I would call it the evolution of the context is the challenge. Because
why the evolution of the content?
Why? Because we are living in, let's say, in a world with a fast pace, and we are all in a race in order to survive, I would say. Why I'm saying the evolution of the context, mainly referring to two main topics. First one is regulation. We all know that regulation is evolving at a very fast speed now, so it's really, really important to remain up to date. So we as an association within the packaging industry helps the industry in order to, let's say, stay up to date with training, with ad hoc consultancies, but also we try to organize, let's say, sharing of information in order to provide the outlook on what is going on and what will be the forecast or the outlook in order to make our associates and all the industries ready for the change, because they need to be ready from an organizational point of view, but also from the way of working point of view. So it's really important to understand how new regulation will impact and how we need to change in order, let's say, to stay up to date. Second one is related in terms of evolution about technologies and methods. I mean, new technologies are popping up every day. So these are, let's say, key if we would like to embrace innovation. So we need to really understand what's going on in terms of new technologies in order to, let's say, be innovative and then, let's say, stay competitive on the market. In terms of methods, I'm referring to analytical methods in the specific, because most of us are working for the food industries, and food contact compliance is really key. And we all know that methodologies are really evolving in every day. So what's not detected today, it will be detected tomorrow. So once again, it's really key to stay updated. Last one, in terms of challenge to me, it's the digital era. We live in the digital era. This means that every day new content are popping up, and everyone can create a new content, even if it's not, let's say, expert on the content. This means that we are full of fake news, specifically in the packaging, in the packaging topic. So to me, it's really important to be conscious that we need to fight with this fake news. So we need to create the right culture, positive culture around the packaging. So this is our responsibility. This is a sort of mission we have, so to let's say, create the right communication, positive communication around packaging in order, let's say, to create the right culture, science-based, and that can be the base to have a sustainable discussion around packages. So these are the challenges.
Thank you, Alessandra. And what do you see as the main challenges, and how do you address them? I repeat the question. What do you see as the main challenges, and how are your organization working to address these issues?
Yeah, I can echo everything Alexandra said, but I will not do it. I think in addition, what we do see with all these regulations and the moving targets that we sometimes have is that small and medium companies have a hard time keeping up the pace of all the changes. The bigger the companies are, the more they have resources and money to pay for consultancy or for own employees to really follow up and even be part of a lobby group, even if we don't like the word. But for small and medium companies, it's really a challenge to stay ahead of all regulation, especially in food. Small companies can be really strong in niche applications for food, and to follow up on all the special needs for their packaging. I think we may lose quite a lot of authentic family-based small companies in the world of packaging, especially food packaging, if we don't help them and support them with knowledge sharing.
Thank you, Anne. What about your organization,
Yeah,
Bruno?
maybe it's the same for me for concerning regulation. We want to explain what is PPWR in the next future, next future. And of course, we need to have information on that. We work closely with European in Belgium, in Brussels. And for me, another challenge is in France, packaging, but maybe in Italy or Belgium, it's the same. Packaging is, generally speaking, considered as a waste. Not really something good for the people, for the product, for the planet. So one of our main challenge is to explain that, first of all, packaging is functionality. That's it.
Okay, thank you. I have another question for you, Bruno. In France, how is the packaging sector working to enhance its attractiveness to young talent and professionals seeking career changes? What initiatives are being implemented to promote careers in packaging and improve education and training to meet the industry's growing needs?
Good question. For the first years this year, education is the main topic for us. Why? Because in France we have what we call plastic bashing, but also packaging bashing for every material, and also industry bashing. Industry is not so good, it's bad, you know, on the point of view of certain NGOs. So this is a real problem, because we need engineers for the future, packaging engineers, but also technicians. And for the first time this year, some school where we work closely with has problem to recruiting students for this kind of formation, packaging formation. And CNA, Conseil National de l'Emballage, 15 years ago has created a contest, a competition for young students to invent or to imagine the packaging of the future. And this is the first year that they have problem to find students that can accept to go in this kind of packaging studies. And with our competition or our contest, we try to have a pretext to link industry and to link with university and schools.
Young generations.
Yeah, the new generation, yeah, for the future, of course. So it's a very huge problem for the next years, because we need the engineers.
And you want to answer?
Yeah, I can relate to what Bruno says, but it's very important to tie in what Alessandra says. It needs to be science-based. And science doesn't seem to be sexy anymore. I don't understand, because for me it's the most sexy thing you can study. But for younger generation, it doesn't seem to be sexy anymore. But we cannot learn and progress as material scientists by looking at TikTok movies. It needs to come from the brain and from critical thinking and from inventing next generations of materials. And all the good equipment that you see in these halls and all these materials that you see, they were invented by people, they were developed by brains. And this is what we need to hope for, that at least some part of the young generation catches this and sees that it comes from the brain and that we develop by thinking.
Very interesting, thank you. Alessandra, in Italy, how does the packaging sector incorporate ethics into its practices, particularly regarding environmental and social impact? And how do companies address accessibility both in design and in access to sustainable solutions?
Okay, so ethics. I want to start from, most of the surveys that you can find everywhere now that shows that a lot of consumers, sometimes more than 70%, when asked what are you likely to buy, they reply that they're likely to buy brands which can show they have value behind. Okay? So this is the market now. So values and ethics are not anymore nice to have, but they became a must. Okay? So we should rely with ethics and values. So starting from this point, the Italian Institute of Packaging decided in 2020, so 4 years ago, quite recently, to create a foundation, which is the Ethical Packaging Charter Foundation, which is a foundation, so a no-profit entity, and that is working in order to, let's say, spread a positive culture around packaging. This foundation works in according with the 10 values of the Ethical Packaging Charter that have been formalized between one important technical university in Italy, which is the Polytechnic of Milano, in 2020. So based on these 10 values that are representing packaging, we are trying to, let's say, spread this positive culture. How do we do it? We do it mainly with training, okay, which is really important. It's important for the expert in the sector. So covering let's say the expert, like we are working with different universities in Italy, and we have shaped and we are collaborating on many master or high performance training courses, which are dedicated on specific topic for the packaging industry. But we think that our focus should not be only the expert, because they are expert already. So we think that to spread this positive culture around packaging, it's key to reach the final consumer, which is important because I'm connecting with the fake news topic I was talking about a few minutes ago. So to reach the consumer, we are convinced that we need to work on younger generation, because they will be the influencer of tomorrow. They will shape the future. So I can provide you an example of one big project that we have launched more or less 1.5 years ago with the primary school. That is called, I tried to translate it in English because it was in Italian in origin, is Packaging What a Fabulous Story. And we have brought this project into the primary school, working with the, let's say, the industries that are sustaining our foundation, just telling the importance of packaging along the history. So starting from the prehistory until today, talking with the, let's say, the packaging we bring to the space, we're on the moon and on Mars, talking with children, making them understand that packaging is not waste, is something that is bringing value to the product, but also to the society, because we cannot survive as a society without packaging. Okay, so this is one of the main project that we are promoting. We are not working only on the training, but we would like also to create value for society. So we have another big project that is starting in collaboration with jails in Italy. So we would like to work with the prisoners in order to provide training, in order to provide them a tool and education that can be used after they will, let's say, come back in the society. So they can find easily a job in our industries and so on. So this is another topic we are working on. Last question was about accessibility. The last part of the question, right?
The last question was about how do companies address accessibility, both in design and in access to sustainable solutions?
Just quickly, accessibility to me has a broad meaning. First one, well, we can, let's say, discuss a lot about accessibility, but just to pick up some key aspects, the first one is the physical accessibility of the product. So packaging must work to, let's say, make the product more accessible to everyone. For example, to weaker group of population, elder people, children, or, I don't know, specific, let's say, group of population which has specific needs, like blind people. So to have, for example, packaging with braille on it and so on. So this means accessibility, and this, let's say, has to be taken into account by the industry now. The second meaning for accessibility is directly linked to cost. So if the packaging is too expensive, this means that the packaging plus the product won't be accessible. So we need to, let's say, design packaging in order to reduce as much as we can cost. The last one is linked to communication, because if you think packaging is the, let's say, most read media in the world, more than newspapers, more than books, more than everything, because everyone in his life every day reads a pack, every day. So accessibility means also communication, and we must be able to use packaging as a communication tool. We can use it for education, we can use it to bring minimum information, legal information, we can use it to, let's say, tell a story about our company, but we must, let's say, use packaging accessible also for communication. So this is key, and this is something that, let's say, companies should take into account.
Thank you, Alexandra. Anne, I have a question for you about the packaging. In Belgium, how does the packaging sector handle potential conflicts between food packaging regulation and recycling requirements? How do companies balance food safety imperatives with sustainability goals in the field of consumer goods packaging?
Yes, it's a problem. Sometimes legislation can give you information and sometimes it doesn't. There are a lot of gray zones. The PPWR also has some gray zones. And then again, coming to the small, medium companies, they have a hard time filling in these gray zones. And so can you use recycled plastic in a food packaging? Yes or no? What does it mean to have a DOC, a declaration of compliance? So there are a lot of things across the whole supply chain where different stakeholders have a lot of different questions, where they don't always get an answer on based on just reading the texts that are available. And it's not only with food packaging. If you look at packaging for the transport of dangerous goods, you see also that plastic jerry cans are not really fit to use recycled materials, but the PPWR will tell you you have to. So you see sometimes goals that are conflicting, you see timelines that are not streamlined, and it will still take some time to align all the goals, to allow all the dynamics that you need to have enough recycled material. There is not enough available to reach the goals of recycling already. So there will be a lot of gray zones to color and put them in the white or black area. So we try to help our customers as much as we can, but we do confirm that there are still some gray zones to be identified.
Thank you, Han. I have a last question for you all to conclude. What are the next steps, your vision?
As I said before, we have to consider that packaging is not a waste. We have to love packaging, and we have to, as institute, as association on packaging, we have to promote packaging as something essential for our everyday life.
Thank you. Anne?
People talk a lot about saving the planet, but packaging is not always the key to this failure of saving the planet.
So what is the key for you to save the world?
I will give you a small example and you conclude it for yourself. But if you look at the CO2 or the carbon footprint, if you wish, of packaged cheese, then 10% of the CO2 footprint comes from the plastic packaging. 90% of the footprint comes from the cheese. And this is because you need the cows, you need the milking process.
This is about the products. The product is the main problem.
The inside is the most valuable part, and the packaging is there to increase the value and the lifetime of this valuable content.
Alessandra.
Yes, I agree with everything you said, and I would say that culture creation, positive culture creation is key for the future for our industry. And we need to play this role as association, but also as industries alone. And I think that also advocacy in the future will be key, because we need to play a role with this science-based information in order to help the policymakers trying to understand what is reality, what is the added value, and what kind of solution we can bring in order, let's say, to promote the product, but also what is around the product, which is packaging. So,
thank you so much for being here and to give us the challenges of packaging in Europe. I don't know if you have questions. No questions. Everything was clear. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
On peut les applaudir. Merci beaucoup.